Welcome back to another team selection video for UCL Fantasy ahead of Matchday 12, the second leg of the semi-finals. I'll be recapping on how I did in Matchday 11, talking about my transfer plans. Remember, we have 3 free transfers heading into the second leg, and then we have 5 free transfers heading into the Champions League final for Matchday 13. So everything will be discussed, the best options, captaincy choices, everything that you need to know. And you've also got the best wildcard and limitless team videos to help you if you've still got any of those chips available, and also to get a sense of the best players to buy, not just for Matchday 12, but also for Matchday 13 in the case of the best wildcard team video. Be sure to tune in for the deadline stream 2 hours before kickoff in the Milan derby on the Tuesday, and also smash the subscribe button for more UCL Fantasy and FPL content. Like this video, share this video around as well with those that love UCL Fantasy, and comment down below your thoughts ahead of this upcoming deadline. But let's get straight into this, starting with my Matchday 11 performance. There was a tale of 2 goalkeepers in Matchday 11. Onana kept the clean sheet away from home in the Milan derby. Only 2 shots on target from AC Milan throughout the whole game. Courtois made plenty of saves, but not many clear-cut opportunities from Man City or Real Madrid, and Inter Milan looked the most likely to reach the Champions League final at this point in time. 2 of my transfers in included Tomori and Theo Hernandez. That didn't pay off at all. What I was looking for was a balance for AC Milan and Inter Milan, and I thought the first leg could be low scoring. Maybe Lautaro Martinez would score the goal, and that's why I captained him, but I was trying to go for a balance and cover both possibilities, and that's why sometimes putting all your eggs in one basket could be the right solution. The problem is backing the right horse, and in this case I thought AC Milan would win the first leg, but Inter Milan would go through to the Champions League final overall, and Inter Milan got a comprehensive lead from the get-go. In the space of 10-15 minutes they went 2-0 up, so that's not looking too good, and I'm actually looking to get rid of AC Milan defenders at this point. I've only got 2 of their players overall, and that still feels like too many at this point, especially with their predicament in all competitions and their Champions League hopes hanging in the balance. Ruben Dias got plenty of ball recovery points. Of course, the clean sheet was wiped out quite early on by Vinicius Jr., but a 4-pointer is pretty decent away from home at the Bernabeu. And then you've got Darmian with another 8-pointer. He's been fantastic in the knockout stages, one of the very best defenders to buy from any single team, and despite him being a bit underwhelming in the group stages, he has come to life and also made a place in the starting 11 across all competitions for Inter Milan, so that's great to see, and he is one of my best purchases since the round of 16 and the quarterfinals. So pretty solid stuff from the likes of Darmian and Onana, but no clean sheets for the rest, of course. And you've also got those on my bench. Eder Militao was suspended, Kvaratskhelia is eliminated, and I didn't have enough free transfers to also maybe rectify those issues as well. But still pretty decent showing from the 13 players I had available. I got 56 points in this match day. My overall rank went down by just under 100 places, so not too bad. Of course, it's not ideal, but you take it. It's not as bad as maybe a massive red arrow. You look at the rest of my midfield and forward line, you've got Vinicius Jr. and De Bruyne doing extremely well there. The man of the match award was maybe given to the wrong player, but it doesn't matter. Both of them in my team. I didn't captain neither, so it doesn't really make a difference. And Valverde and Rodrigo both blanked. I wasn't really too keen on Valverde, but because I was a bit unsure about Calhanoglu starting, I went for Valverde instead, and that didn't pay off, with Calhanoglu getting 7 points overall, so 4 more than the Uruguayan. You've got Erling Haaland also blanking on my bench. Karim Benzema not doing too much either. Lautaro Martinez at least got a ball recovery point, so I made a 1-point difference between switching the captaincy, but it still wasn't ideal, of course, and that's why I need to nail on for the second leg of the semi-finals and also in the Champions League final. I don't think I've ever nailed on the captaincy for Matchday 13. I'm looking to change that this season. I've got 13 players available, as I just mentioned, and I've got 3 transfers, so plenty of opportunities to improve this squad and have one of the very best teams you can assemble for Matchday 12, and I've also got 5 free transfers for the Champions League final, so I'm not too worried about that, to be fair, but there are some issues in my squad. I think having 2 AC Milan defenders with their current form being away to Inter Milan could be a disaster, so I'm looking to trim down at least one of them. Also getting rid of Kvaratskhelia, of course, for a playing midfielder, and then maybe replacing one of my other midfielders like Valverde. Those are going to be my transfer plans for this week. I've got the 2 best goalkeepers in the game right now. There's no need to change them. I've got a pretty good backline overall, with the odd exception potentially of Tomori, and maybe the forward line could be changed as well. You could say instead of Lautaro Martinez you can go for Dzeko, but I'm actually quietly confident Lautaro Martinez could score here in the second leg despite his disappointments in the first leg, and he hasn't been a great Champions League player throughout the years. He is pretty inconsistent. He's capable of some big goals, the one against Barcelona Barcelona this season, away from home against Liverpool as well at Anfield, which almost made a comeback there for Inter Milan. But I think Lautaro Martinez, this is his time to shine. He's in great form, 5 goals in his last 6 games. He could be my captain for the first day, and if it doesn't pay off, I've always got the likes of Haaland, Benzema, Kevin De Bruyne, Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. to change the captaincy to on the second day. But it's looking pretty decent. It's not the worst team you'll see in the world for Matchday 12, but there's definitely some improvements to be made, and that's where the transfer plans come in. With the free transfers at my disposal, I'm looking to bring in Rodri for Valverde, Hakan Çalhanoğlu for Kvaratskhelia, and DeMarco for Tomori. I think that's a pretty solid transfer plan, and I think what we also have to think about is the balance of each team. So with Man City, I've got 4 players here, and I could easily make it 5 or 6, but I'm still quite happy having 4. In terms of Real Madrid, I've got 5, with Courtois in goal, Eder Militao, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and Benzema. I'm getting rid of Valverde, so I've gone from 6 to 5, a bit more of a balance in that regard, and I'm going all in technically, or almost, on Inter Milan with 5 of their players as well, including Onana, and 4 outfield players with the arrival of Hakan Çalhanoğlu and DeMarco. I think that makes sense, and I've only got 1 AC Milan player. If they do mount a comeback, then this could be an absolute disaster. But remember, for the Champions League final in Matchday 13, we only need 11 players, because those on your bench, you're not going to be able to make substitutions, change the captaincy, so forget about all of that in Matchday 13. That will work more like a traditional fantasy game, like FPL, for example. So all that we really need to talk about is the captaincy and also the players I'm bringing in. So in terms of the captaincy, I'm going for Lautaro Martinez, I believe, on the Tuesday, but I am considering Hakan Çalhanoğlu and even a defender like DeMarco. Now, one thing I want to point out, as I did in my other Champions League fantasy videos this week, is that Gosens has returned from injury, so DeMarco isn't as nailed as he was in Matchday 11, so be aware of that. And over the weekend against Sassuolo, DeMarco was subbed off around 61 minutes for Gosens, which isn't too bad. If that happens in the Champions League, for example, when he can bank a clean sheet, that is ideal, if anything. But there is the possibility of him being subbed off before 60 minutes. It's happened before in the Champions League this season and also across all competitions, so be careful of that. And that's where I could reconsider DeMarco. I think he's probably the least likely to come in of these 3. Rodri's just good for ball recoveries. He's also an enabler, the best at his price and below. He can average 4 points per game pretty much, and that's pretty fine by me. And as for Hakan Çalhanoğlu, he's been very good in the Champions League knockout stages. He was unavailable for the first leg of the quarterfinals, and he came back from injury in the second leg as a substitute, but he was man of the match in both legs of the round of 16, and he also got a 7-pointer against his former club AC Milan, so I'm very happy to bring him in. And as for the rest, I don't see any reason to change, you know, the likes of Haaland, Benzema, of course, even Lautaro Martinez, De Bruyne, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and my defensive line overall is pretty solid. So despite having Theo Hernandez away to Inter Milan, he is the best fantasy asset the Rossoneri have to offer, so I'm quite happy to keep him. And the only caveat to this whole entire squad and my transfer plans is if AC Milan mount a comeback, but it's not looking likely at this moment in time. Only 3 wins in the last 10, only 9 goals scored in that time frame. And you look at Inter Milan, 7 wins on the bounce. They're in great form, and their recent record against AC Milan is really good. So we had AC Milan winning the first game of the season, the Milan derby. It was a 3-2 victory with Rafael Leao scoring a brace, but in every other game, Inter Milan haven't conceded a single goal to their Milan rivals, and they've also gotten some big scorelines in the process, a 1-0 victory, 2-0 and a 3-0 in the Supercoppa Italiana. So Inter Milan have the edge, of course, in terms of the recent record, the form, and also being at home in front of the home crowd, of course, despite both teams sharing the San Siro. So really all we need to finalised by the deadline stream is maybe 1 or 2 transfers. I think DeMarco and Rodri is something I'd be looking at. Let's see how the lineups are for Inter Milan versus AC Milan on the Tuesday. If Çalhanoğlu doesn't start, then maybe I'll reconsider him, of course. And the same goes for DeMarco. I might have some second thoughts about him, but the rest is pretty nailed on. Even the captaincy, I'm looking at Lautaro Martinez or Çalhanoğlu for the first day, and then probably a Man City attacker on the Wednesday. That's my current plan, but I'm not discarding anything. Even Benzema, Vinicius Jr. or Rodrigo as my captain for the second day. You can never count out Real Madrid. Despite Man City being favourites, Real Madrid are the kings of this competition, as we all know. So that's everything that we need to cover for the team selection, the Matchday 11 performance. My small red arrow there, I'm hoping to make amends in the second leg. My transfer plans currently, and of course Man City still have to play against Everton at the time it's recording. Everyone else has played, and that's where all the information has come in across all of my videos in terms of recent form. Also players like Lautaro Martinez scoring over the weekend. So be sure to check out all of those videos for Matchday 12 and the deadline stream coming up very soon. And thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, then be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. Let's try to get this video to over 300 likes. Let's keep on pushing towards 20,000 subscribers and beyond. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and check all the links in the description below for the Patreon, channel memberships, Discord server, and the UCL Fantasy League. All of that is there. I wish you all the best of luck for the second leg of the semi-finals, and just enjoy the football as always, and I'll see you next time.